Hi, I'm Wayne Hankin. Today we're going to look, listen, and recommend the best plastic soprano recorders. If you're asking yourself, what's the best plastic instrument I can buy? Is it easy to play? Does it sound good? Is it in tune? Does it feel good in the hands? Is it easy to maintain? And most importantly, can I make great music on it? If any of those questions have crossed your mind, then you've come to the right place. This video is aimed at 4 types of recorder players. 1. You're an absolute beginner looking for the best instrument to start on. 2. You're a teacher on a budget seeking the best instrument for your students. 3. You're a competent amateur and want an instrument that doubles as a good practice instrument or all-around performer. And 4. You're a professional and want a plastic that can hold up in a lot of working environments, from studio recording to the concert hall. If you're one of those people, I'm here to show you what's out there. Now, if you want to cut to the chase, you can go to the end of this video for our top picks, or click on the link below to get our full detailed testing results. Print it out so you can follow this video. Here we'll look at history of plastic recorders, how we test them, wood versus plastic, explanation of the categories in our survey, a mini concert with our top choices performing Renaissance, jazz, classical, and folk music, and to conclude, a list of dealers who sell the models we test. Plastics began in Germany nearly 100 years ago, 1936. Back then, bakelite was hard, brittle, and could break when dropped, exposing harmful chemicals from formaldehyde to asbestos. These plastics migrated to England during World War II, of which the early shot sopranos sold well, despite poor voicing, crude sound, not to mention a tendency to melt in the sun. The United States entered the field with a cellulosic plastic produced by Kodak maybe as early as 1939. Made by Frank Anman, it was marketed by the Tonette Company of Chicago, a subsidiary of Gibson Guitars. So when did they get good? It took a while, but by the mid-1970s, Friedrich von Huene created the first modern version of a plastic Baroque Brisson alto for Xenon. The Stainsby Jr. soprano followed, and since then other makers have followed Xenon's example. These ABS models are not only made in Baroque style, but Renaissance too. Yamaha and Mollenhauer introduced recorders in colors, and most recently it was Yamaha that produced a recorder made of a new ecologically friendly composite material named EcoDeer, which is 70% plastic and 30% PLA resin derived from plants. So that's where we are today. What did our test show? Well, many companies produce first-rate instruments and the quality keeps improving. That's very good news for you, because if you're looking for something low price, you can find a first-rate instrument for under $4. We tested up to 15 brands comprising over 40 instruments, and to round off our survey, we tested an affordable wood recorder, a school instrument made some 6 years back, a 50-year-old Xenon Stainsby Jr., a recorder found in a dollar store, a tonette, and a flutophone, which are still used in schools today. Not included in our survey, electronic recorders, composite recorders of wood and plastic, like Mech's Flauto 1 or Mollenhauer's Prima or Hohner Melody, and 5- and 7-tone pentatonic recorders like the Kelishek instrument. I created a test piece in early Baroque Venetian style to see how well these instruments hold up to quick articulation over a full 2-octave range. The pros and cons have shifted in the last few years. The old thinking was plastic will never be as good as wood, and for many years that was true. Since the introduction of the Stainsby Jr., there are many plastics equal to wood. Some have straight windways, or like the Stainsby Jr., curved windways. So, which is better, plastic or wood? That's not the question to propose. What you really should be asking is, what do you like in a recorder? Do you like it light and nimble, or do you like it down the road medium style, or do you like something dark and rich? To me, choosing a soprano is a lot like choosing maple syrup. Some people like the bottle on the left, which has a light taste. Some people like the one on the right, which has a darker, richer flavor. Then there are those who like something in between, medium. Medium sound is good for blending with a recorder consort or other chamber instruments. It won't stick out, but robust enough to hold its own without taking over. A well-made wood recorder tends to be darker, which is good if you're playing solo in a concert hall. This is where you want your instrument to float above the orchestra, otherwise you'll get drowned out. But most plastics tend to be the lighter sound, which can be advantageous for a pro who wants a good sound at a recording session, but does not want his sound to bleed into the other instruments around him. Your recordist or recording engineer will thank you for that, because it makes their miking, recording, and final mix down easier to manage. How do plastics and wood differ? With plastics, they cost less. You can drop them and they shouldn't crack. They're dishwasher safe, most have a lighter feel than wood, and they look good. With a little care, they can last for decades, delivering consistent performance. The con is they don't absorb moisture, so if you're a wet player, chances are the windway will clog and your sound will diminish or go out entirely. A good wood instrument usually costs more, requires more maintenance, but you get 3 advantages. 1. If it's well made, it usually carries a darker character. 2. Most woods have cedar blocks which absorb windway moisture. 3. Unlike plastic, if you play your wood instrument on a regular basis, in time it will adopt characteristics of your playing. And it's true, with care, some wood can improve over time. The cons are, they can warp and crack whether you overplay the instrument or drop it on the floor. You might also ask, can people distinguish a wood sound from a plastic one? Well, maybe if you play them side by side, but here's the bottom line. Most people, and that includes professional musicians, can't tell the difference. So in our testing, we included a reasonably priced wood recorder, the Mollenhauer Dream. We'll also be testing its plastic Dream cousin to see how they compare. So, which is better, plastic or wood? Answer, neither. They're just different. Another instrument you'll hear that falls outside of our category is the flutophone, still used in some schools across the country. Are they good tools for teaching? Can you make good music on them? We test an open-ended flutophone and its closed-end cousin, the tonette. Both are not recorders, more similar to an ocarina, therefore they don't overblow into the upper octave the way a recorder does. Hence, they are limited in range. We test based on affordability. Can you get a good instrument for a low, reasonable price? Tone quality. Does it sound good to you, the player, and your listeners? Intonation. Do all the notes play in tune? Range. Can it successfully play 2 octaves or more? Feel. Does it feel right in your hands? Response. Do you have leeway in the notes without cracking? Ease of playing. Can you fly on the instrument? I play no favorites here. That's why our tests are done objectively, not subjectively. Well, a little bit of yourself's going to creep in from time to time. Let me give you an example. Here is the Canto Plastic Soprano Recorder. Didn't think much of it when I played it, but it tested very high. In fact, it made the top 20. For Aldo, it actually made his top 5 picks. Go figure. Once they're tested, they're put into one of 4 categories. Number 1, player's instruments. These are the instruments that meet all criteria of our testing. Sound and craftsmanship are top-notch. You can't go wrong with any of these choices. They're all winners. Number 2, acceptable. These are good instruments, but may have some shortcomings like one-piece recorders with an unadjustable bottom joint. Therefore, a lefty can't play it. or lessees in the upper register. However, they are suitable, reliable choices for beginners. 3. The drawing board. These are instruments that have some benefits, but are held back with major issues that will hold you and your students back as well. And finally, the fourth group, toys. These items will look great on your wall, your garage sale table, or your local landfill. Well, enough talk. Time to hear our top picks. Enjoy.